Hey, this is RebelQueen. Yes, I have a Score Bunny plush. I think this should tell you what this review is about since I said I would be doing this review. Oh, and of course, I've got my little furry helper LK in my lap. He's being a cuddle buddy again. And anyway, as you guys know, the first of the two expansions for Pokemon Sword and Shield dropped today, the Isle of Armor. I did say it would take me a day or two to probably get this review out, but I got extremely lucky and was able to pretty much just sit and pretty much go through the whole main story for the game, the main story of the whole expansion, I mean, and I have to say it was good. I'm happy at least. I'm not I'm I think it's pretty obvious that I love Pokemon, considering the Score Bunny, and I have made it well known that I have played pretty much like nearly all the games, at least handheld, and I did play Pokemon Stadium 2 on the N64, so at least one console game. But anyway, so I'm not being biased. This is just somebody who really knows what they're talking about when it comes to Pokemon. Anyway, this game, this expansion, I think it really did fit quite right in, because the expansion can be picked up and played. Like, you don't have to finish off the game in order to play it. So if you're just now picking up the game, Sword and Shield, you can go right into Isle of Armor or Crown Tundra if you purchase the expansions, because kind of like in the wild area, the stuff in Isle of Armor, the Pokemon levels will adjust to what your level of difficulty. Obviously, I've long since beaten both games, so obviously I'm at the highest difficulty there. But I digress. But for those of you who are in that position, there you go. The story was good. The little story for the game was good. I keep saying game, I mean expansion. Sorry. Without giving too much away, basically, like, for those of you who already have the game and you purchased the expansion beforehand, you basically meet up. If you've got, depending on which version of the game you've got, you basically meet back up with either Avery or I cannot remember that girl's name for the life of me. Sorry, I pretty much, as you guys know, I have both copies of the game. I have both Sword and Shield, so since I pretty much started on my Shield game, which I completed first, so I started on that one for all of this. So of course, on Shield, your little rival on Isle of Armor is Avery, who wants to hopefully by completing his training in the dojo, can start his own gym, which would be a psychic type gym. If I remember right, for the in Sword, for the female rival during all this, she wants to do a poison type gym. So basically, like, if you had pre-ordered everything, you meet back up with them and you kind of get more, you kind of see more of their character. So basically, as I was playing through Shield and seeing Avery, I was seeing his character, and it was how his character was, and it was kind of funny. And then later on today, the reason why this is getting put up so late, because as you guys know, play Pokemon Go, it was a raid hour night for a legendary who just got put into the game, and so I was with Albion, and he was playing Sword, and I talked with him about how the reactions were different, and I was like, oh my god. But yeah, so the story was just kind of really funny, because it's like you're without giving it away, because it's like, for maybe those of you who haven't really thrown down the $30 to purchase the expansions yet, or maybe because you didn't have the money at the time when all this was first announced, or you were like, you were on the fence, or maybe you were a parent who didn't want to do it for your kid at the time. So, sorry kiddos if you're watching this. I'm not going to give you spoilers, because that's mine and Albion's one big rule. We try to avoid spoilers as much as we can. But it was just really funny. Let's just kind of like say, like, if you're in a dojo situation and the master is making you kind of go through trials, kind of like tests to see, like, oh, who would be like a worthy successor or something like that, or to like pass on some kind of knowledge. That's basically kind of like what goes on in this whole situation. Except that it's a Pokemon, except obviously it's Pokemon, so now, as you guys know, in this expansion we meet the Pokemon Kubfu. Okay, I'll be honest, he is a cute little guy. I kind of didn't want to evolve him, but I did. So honestly, if they do a plush for him, I'm not ashamed to admit, I will get a plush. Because I think you all will agree with me if you've seen from the promo videos for Isle of Armor. He is adorable, and how he kind of acts in the cutscenes. You're kind of, if you're a girl, you're just kind of like, aww. I can't say anything for the guys, because I know some guys will probably go, okay, that is a little cute, but others, I'm not so sure about. So it's like, as you kind of know, you have the choice between two towers. You have to choose between two towers in order to evolve Kubfu into Urushu. And I'm not even going to try and because like you have two different versions of him, the water version and the dark type version. I cannot remember the name of the dark type version, so I'm not even going to try and go into that right now. So it's like, but it's like, in order to even think of doing the towers, you have to build up like a friendship level with Kubfu, and by doing that, you have to visit these specific points on the Isle of Armor. So pretty much you kind of see more of the graphics and stuff that they put into this game, and at the same time you're kind of like, at least with me, I was kind of going, okay, Pokemon catch, Pokemon catch. So it's like seeing, like, even though we kind of had rumors about like what all old Pokemon they were putting into at least into the first half of this expansion, you kind of really do see, like, when you're doing this, you really do see which ones they did. And I was kind of like, okay, I'm going to catch you and then evolve you later. But overall, I did have fun with it, and I'm pretty much going to have fun with it, as much fun with it as I can until hopefully Crown Tundra comes out, which is when, from what we've seen with Crown Tundra, that's when we'll get like a lot of the Galarian versions of legendaries, along with, from what they've shown us in the trailers, apparently a couple new versions of a couple new legendaries that are added into some of our old legendaries. So that should be fun. And oh, and it also has like the Isle of Armor has like this one little, at least for those of you who have OCD, it has this one little thing that'll probably make you keep going, okay, I need to find this, I need to find this, I need to find this. I'm not going to tell you what, but when you do realize what it is, you're probably going to go, if you haven't, oh my god, I can't believe this guy did this. Or if you guys have already played, you're going, yeah. But yeah, and so far they have shown like some pretty interesting things in the Isle of Armor. Like, we do have an option, like, for some of the Pokemon that we have seen that can have okay, I obviously am not going to be able to say this right, so Gmax, I think you get what I mean, forms. So that apparently in Isle of Armor, we do have a way of, if you've got a Pokemon that you know has a Gmax form, but you did not catch that form, then they have a way of being able to bestow upon your Pokemon that ability to Gmax. You just have to get certain things. Which is very nice, because after all, you don't always get lucky and are able to get into that raid lobby with a Gmax Pokemon. Oh, and of course, since I almost forgot, since I have Score Bunny, of course, and since I brought that up, it's thanks to that little thing I was talking about that our starters in this game can now have their own Gmax forms, since from the promos they hinted at the starters getting their own Gmax forms. It's thanks to that deal that they can get their Gmax forms. So, whoopee! Sorry, I know that was kind of played down, but I can't exactly be too loud. But, without being... And I know some people are probably going, what about the Pokedex? What about the Pokedex? Okay, first off, like I said, it's mainly, we get a lot of the old Pokemon, the only, for a lot of, like, the old generation Pokemon in the Isle of Armor, with only, like, Cubfu and, like, the Galarian Slowpoke. So, at least for Isle of Armor, it won't be until, like, Crown Tundra that we really see any more Galarian Pokemon. Now, don't start freaking out. Don't start bad-mouthing the Pokemon Crater guys. I remember seeing, like, a little thing on, like, with them on the Pokemon stuff. Apparently it takes them a while to create Pokemon, and, like, even then they sometimes have ideas that are at least scrapped for, like, a certain generation, but they keep the ideas, and then when they're then working on, like, a new series, they'll go back to those old ideas, flip through them, and then maybe rework some of them and go, okay, this will now work for this generation. So it's all very tricky and stuff. Without being too biased, because since I have pretty much said I've played Pokemon since Yellow, so I do know the series pretty well. For Isle of Armor being newly added to the game, I'd say 8.5. Whoa! What the fuck? Sorry, bug. The reason I'm giving it that score is I'm trying, like I said, I'm trying not to be biased towards the series because since I've been playing it so long and I do enjoy it. And I'm not. Like I said, I'm okay with the fact that, like I said, I understand why they didn't include a whole a lot more new Pokemon or Galarian form Pokemon, at least right now. And though I kind of would have liked the fact that with Cubfu that Because in the whole storyline with Kubfu, that oh, once you choose one of the towers and evolve him, the other tower is barred to you. So even if you like go and breed Kubfu with like a Ditto, the Urushu with a Ditto, and get like another Kubfu to like get you both versions, you can't go to the other tower. I guess you have to pretty much do the whole trade deal to get both Pokedex entries. Well, data entries. Not that that's really a big deal, it's just, because, I mean, from what I saw in the Pokedex, I mean, it's pretty much like the one thing, because, I mean, Kubfu's evolution is pretty much like the one thing. It's just like, I think we've all pretty much have seen it, like with some of the other Pokemon that have like, oh, it's like this form, and it's blah 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 blah, like oh, like with Toxicity. Sorry, because it's like when it's in its low key form and it's in its amped form in the Pokedex, you pretty much could like switch back and forth between those two entries in the Pokedex. It doesn't matter which form you chose, it was just the same thing. But other than that, I enjoyed this new expansion, and I can't wait to see what Crown Tundra brings us in the fall. Albion is, since I went to the raid hour, Albion was with me, and again, he's sorry about not doing the streams, but apparently a few games are coming up that he's very interested in, and he said he'll more than likely do streams for them, so hopefully you guys will see some action from him soon. And again, I know you guys are probably getting sick and tired of me saying this, but medical personnel, hope you guys are able to get home to your family safe. Families of medical personnel, I hope you're able to see your family members safe and sound. First responders, same thing. Same for your families. Police officers and your families, also the same. Hopefully everything works out soon. This has been RebelQueen. We will hopefully see you guys soon. Bye.